Not everyone in the history of rock music can tell a story as extraordinary as Dave Grohl's. His journey is not simply about playing in successful bands. It's a tale of resilience, transformation, and an unshakable passion for music that carried him from the underground punk scene to the grandest stages in the world. It all began in 1986. At just 17 years old, Grohl stood at a crossroads that would define his future. While most teenagers were focused on homework and high school graduations, Grohl made a decision that seemed reckless to many. He dropped out of school, but this wasn't a leap into uncertainty. It was a leap into destiny. He joined Scream, a Washington, D.C.-based punk band that gave him his first taste of life on the road. And behind him every step of the way was his mother, Virginia Grohl, a school teacher who understood something that others couldn't see. She knew her son wasn't just chasing a dream, he was chasing a calling. She gave him her blessing, even if it meant walking away from the path most parents expect for their children. That act of faith would become the cornerstone of his remarkable journey. As Grohl toured relentlessly with Scream, sleeping on floors, cramming into vans, and playing tiny clubs, he built not just skill, but stamina and grit. Then came the moment of serendipity that would alter his life forever. During one of those gritty West Coast shows, two musicians happened to be in the audience, Kurt Cobain and Krist Novoselic. They saw something special in Grohl, something raw and undeniable. Just a few years later, when Scream collapsed in 1990, Grohl would receive the call that changed everything, an invitation to join Nirvana. The result was a seismic shift in popular music. Nirvana was more than a band. They were a revolution. With their breakout album Nevermind, they brought grunge from the streets of Seattle to the ears of the world. Grohl's thunderous drumming provided the heartbeat behind Kurt Cobain's piercing lyrics and Krist Novoselic's driving bass lines. Together, they became the voice of a disenchanted generation, one that rejected gloss and embraced authenticity. Songs like Smells Like Teen Spirit weren't just hits. They were battle cries that echoed in bedrooms, garages, and stadiums across the globe. But with meteoric success came unbearable weight. Fame, pressure, and personal struggles loomed heavily, and in 1994, the world was devastated by the loss of Kurt Cobain. For Grohl, it wasn't just the loss of a bandmate, it was the loss of a brother, a creative partner, and a defining chapter of his life. Nirvana disbanded, leaving behind a legacy that would forever shape the course of music history. For many, that could have been the end, but Grohl's story was only beginning. From the depths of grief, he found renewal. He picked up a guitar, stepped out from behind the drum kit, and dared to reinvent himself. What began as a personal project, recording songs entirely on his own, grew into the Foo Fighters. What some thought might be a fleeting side act blossomed into a global phenomenon. With 15 Grammy Awards to their name, countless sold-out tours, and a reputation as one of the most consistent forces in modern rock, the Foo Fighters proved that Grohl was not just a drummer from Nirvana. He was a creative powerhouse in his own right. Today, Dave Grohl stands as one of the most respected figures in music. A storyteller, a collaborator, and above all, a survivor. His career is a testament to what happens when talent meets perseverance, when tragedy is met with determination, and when music becomes not just a profession, but a lifeline. And that's why, when a man like Dave Grohl, someone who has lived through punk clubs, world tours, cultural revolutions, and personal heartbreak, chooses to give praise to another band, it's more than a compliment. It's a seal of approval. It's a signal that the band in question is carrying something special, something that might just stand shoulder to shoulder with the very legacy Grohl has built, and maybe even push it further into the future. In recent years, Grohl has shown the world that his legacy is not only about the past, but also about how he continues to shape the present. Beyond his ferocious energy on stage, he has embraced the role of cultural ambassador for rock music, reminding audiences that the spirit of the genre is alive and evolving. He has written memoirs that peel back the curtain on his personal life, directed acclaimed documentaries that capture the essence of what it means to be in a band, and tirelessly advocated for the power of live music. Whether he's sitting on a throne of guitars after breaking his leg mid-concert, or bringing together musicians across generations for a once-in-a-lifetime performance, Grohl embodies rock's resilience and adaptability. The Foo Fighters themselves have grown into something greater than a band. They've become a symbol of survival and unity. Their shows are not just concerts, but communal celebrations, places where tens of thousands of voices rise together in unison. They've headlined every major festival, sold out iconic venues, and kept rock and roll firmly planted on the global stage in an era dominated by pop and hip-hop. What began as Grohl's way of healing from personal loss has transformed into one of the most powerful success stories in modern music. And even as the band faced moments of transition, Grohl never allowed their identity to waver. After parting ways with drummer Josh Freese, he addressed fans with both honesty and fire, making it clear that the Foo Fighters were not only here to stay, but still aiming higher than ever before. In that moment, Grohl's conviction rang out: Foo Fighters are the greatest rock band in the world. To some, it may have sounded bold, even brash. But for those who have followed Grohl's journey, from a teenager pounding drums in punk clubs, to shaking the world with Nirvana, to building his own empire of sound, it felt less like arrogance and more like destiny fulfilled. It was a declaration not of ego, but of purpose, a reminder that after decades of storms, reinventions, and triumphs, the Foo Fighters have earned their place among the immortals of rock. So when Dave Grohl declares the Foo Fighters the greatest rock band in the world, it isn't arrogance, it's conviction. It's the voice of a survivor who has lived, lost, and risen again, and a reminder that rock and roll still beats with unstoppable force.